Oh, Finn's starting up a charity. Finn's the CEO of a charity for trans care. Okay, sure, whatever. We'll talk about that later. I'm spending $50,000 on a problem you might not even know exists.
What was the biggest amount of money that you have donated to a certain charity, and which is that charity?
Oh, dude. Well, one of them I don't know if I can say it because it's a little bit of a secret. But the second biggest one has been like not that much. I think the other one has been like the like second or third most I've donated was like I think I donated 1K to Trevor Project, and that was offline, and then a 750 to a women's charity project, and then the next one's a really fucking big one that I'm very excited for. But that's going to be a Christmas sort of special, okay? But it does have to remain secret because I can't tell anyone yet. But we're in the organizational phases of it. Because it's quite a lot of money. Enough that, like, yeah, it's quite a lot. But good. Oh, shit! Oh, shit! I figured out. Chat, do you remember a while ago I hinted that I was doing something for charity? I figured out what it's gonna be, roughly. It's a bit of a, because it's a bit to set up, but I figured out what I'm gonna do. I'm not allowed to tell you, or I'm not gonna tell you. There'll be a video out on it. It's gonna, the video that is gonna go in is gonna be yeah, yep. I'll announce what I'm doing. But it's gonna be pretty cool. I just finished the Christmas stream, and I knew I wanted to do something this year with how fortunate I've been, and I decided a few months ago that I was gonna give away $25,000. Strictly to help one problem. If you guys don't know, in the UK, there is some straight up cruel practices to trans women and trans men trying to get healthcare. The NHS system was just not built for it. There's 5-year-long waiting lists to get a consultation. The trans community has been incredibly welcoming and accepting to me and me doing what I do. And it sucks to know so many people are going through some shit for it. So here's what I did. Right now, there's a bank account with $25,000 in it. That money is not mine. It is yours. Thank you so much to PhilosophyTube. They helped me understand the system a hell of a lot more than I did. I've got some good plans for it, but I do want your help. Suggestions, how to best get this money out. I do have some good ideas involving contacting private clinics in order to do this. Access to trans healthcare is much easier when you go privately. The waiting list goes from 2, 3, 4, 5 years long down to a couple months. And getting that first consultation and getting on the system is the main issue. And so that's what I want to try and help. And you might be wondering why I'm doing this in Ten's goodbye video, and it's because me and him talked about it. And I have good news. Turns out I'm not giving away $25,000. I'm giving away $50,000. Ten is matching this with us. He's helping out with how to distribute the money, and I think that's a really cool thing that he's doing. I wanted to put this at the end of the video. I didn't want to make it a very big deal. I didn't want to make it a fundraiser that you guys contribute to. I want this purely coming out of my pocket and I guess Ten's pocket and going to you guys to give back. I'll be answering more questions about this on my live stream, so if you want to go there and ask, that's the place. If creating some fake smushed together titties can do any good, I'm glad I can. I know it's not quite Mr. Beast money or anything like that. I'm hoping this can be a start. I want to keep doing stuff like this. I want to do this at least every year. It's a subject that, thanks to you, is pretty close to me now. But I'm willing to accept that I don't know enough about it. And that's why it's in this video. I'm looking forward to suggestions. If anyone in the UK happens to run a clinic or anything like that, and, you know, reach out. I'm available, and I have a big pot of money to give you. Twitter DMs are always open. Hopefully this can be a more long-term thing, but I'm very happy that we can do this as a start of something. Again, thank you, Ten, for hearing about this plan and doing so much to help. I want to thank you for everything. I don't know how to put it quite into words, but I'm getting choked up talking about it. And, thank you again. I can't put into words how much you guys have completely changed my life, and I'm hoping now I can help some other people. Happy New Year! Oh, Finn's starting up a charity. Finn's the CEO of a charity for trans care. Okay, sure, whatever. We'll talk about that later. The death threats, whatever. That was fine. I don't really give a fuck about death. I think people care, like, the idea. Like, it's really easy to be like, I was getting death threats. They don't fucking matter. Like, it doesn't matter about that. I think the thing that hurt was, like, a bunch of trans folks were, like, calling me, like, gross and shitty and that I hated them and that I was transphobic and shit. And that, like, got to me. But it leads into the next topic, and, you know, it was very sad. I got called, like, gross, vile, like, disgusting, weird, just for sort of, like, there were people that were, just critiquing, like, jokes I've made in the past and shit, but a lot were critiquing just, like, me Just like, it's gross that like a cis guy would, you know, dress up like this and like, you know, whatever. Because they clearly don't know much about my content. But either way, they still shared it. It still got to me. Whatever. So, you know, being called transphobic and that I hated trans people was real fun. Did not... real got to me. I don't know what... this shit gets to me. Because I care a lot about it. And all while this was happening for the last few months... all while this was happening for the last few months, again, I don't know if you've checked my posts or whatever, but I've been working on a thing. So this is all while this is happening, I shut the fuck up about it. I didn't use it as any defense. It's not meant to be. Like, I've been working on something for a real long time now, and I announced it, which was pretty cool. I'm not going to play you the whole video because it's 2.5 minutes long, and that's boring and dumb. But I'm setting up on the base of it. I am giving away 50 grand, $50,000. 25,000 that's coming from me. 25,000 that is coming from 10 users as his final hurrah. I told him about my plan to give away the money and exactly what I wanted to do with it, and 10 was fucking into it, and he's fucking matching it, which I think is really fucking cool. I think it's absurdly good. So, to explain a bit further, I don't want to, like, this is specifically for trans folk in the UK. It's where I am. It's, you know, I have a lot of ties here. As far as I'm aware, I am like, there's not a ton of people doing stuff like this in the UK. There's a good amount in America, but the UK is sort of, you know, I've gotten so many DMs since I tweeted out that video. Like, I'll read you a recent one that I read that fucking, Jesus. They say, like, thanks and everything. I'll skip that because cringe. They're cringe compliments to me. I'm one of those that have been on the NHS waiting list for over 4 years now and still have at least another year wait for my first appointment and then another 3 years before that, before they'll allow me access to hormones. It sucks big time. I'm not in the position to afford private treatment, and access to something like your fund would help immensely. I've been watching a journey for a while. Much love, and then stuff like that, and then an egg joke. But yeah, like, dude, years worth of being on a waiting list. Like, I don't know about, listen, I'm not as familiar with the US systems and whatnot, but I do know a good amount of trans folk in the UK now, and I'm getting more familiar with that. And wow, anyone here at trans from the UK? Yeesh. Trans and from England, pick a struggle. Jesus. So I'm trying to...
Thanks for supporting trans people less than 3.
So I'm trying... it's all good. So I'm trying to help that one specific problem. It's a little shitty here for that, so learning about it's good. But to explain a little more than in that video, the plan is to set up like an actual honest-to-God charity. Like, this is not me going, I'm giving, like, money to the... I'm just, like, money, Trevor Project, something like that. Obviously, amazing, fun to donate, amazing charity to donate to, Stonewall Project, Trevor Project, they're great. But, like, this is one of those things where I want to see exactly where my money goes, and it's all... If I'm hosting it, it's always going to go to directly someone. It's always going to go directly to help someone, rather than pay a bunch of executives as well. Even though a lot of these charities are very good, I know that if it's my money and it's me doing it for free, not taking any salary, I can give it 100% to somewhere, right? I know it's being used well. Nice. So, that's what I'm doing. And it's specifically to help one problem, and I don't really see many charities doing that. So, I'm literally making this charity. Like, I'm gonna run it. Me and 10 will run it, actually. It's really helpful. 10 being a doctor, has ran a clinic before, that it's good to know how that system works, with how to link, like, you know, hospitals, clinics with charities, stuff like that. You like something I don't know too much about is like therapists and shit. I have no contact with anyone in that, but that's something that I want to do in the future too. I aim for this to be a start of something. This is not me donating 50 grand and going, all right, cool. This is going to be one of those things that I want to be like a life thing. Like this is what I want to do to help. I talk a lot about, like, I feel like I don't give enough back. This is me running a company specifically, like a whole organization specifically to do this. And TTS is off, yes, but I wanted to talk for a while. But yeah, you know what's fun? That you could have a direct impact in? I gotta name it. I gotta come up with a name of the charity. I haven't named it. I feel like the naming it, making a fucking website is less important, so I just didn't. Chassis was Chassis was in DMs with me saying like, I was like, oh, I haven't named it yet. She was like, I thought you'd have figured this out beforehand. I went, no. It's gotta be an egg joke. Oh. That'd be so fucked. That'd be so fucked. The egg fund. No, I'm not calling it the egg fund. People are gonna get so mad at me if I call it the egg fund. You know what's weird? I really did think about calling it the Rose Fund. It's not a bad name, especially because I don't really go by Rose. Like, Rose is kind of a pretty thing. I love the name Rose Fund. The only thing is, it's a little self-centered, isn't it? Like, I almost don't want it to be connected to me. It sounds too like egotistical. I couldn't name it anything to do with Blahaj. I'm gonna guess IKEA's got something on that. Forced Feminization Foundation. The FFF. Oh, Jesus. Ask ChatGPT. Great fucking idea. Ooh. Great fucking idea.
You're clearly still getting things set up, but when can we start donating to the charity?
Not
I have
soon.
a plan, smile.
Not soon. But fucking by the way, Jesus Christ, the amount of people that want to donate and that want to do something is the amount of people that want to donate to it was quite frankly, you know what? I'd call it heartwarming. My cold dead heart was heartwarmed. I had like 100 people DM me personally about it that wanted to do something about it. Oh yeah, so basically what we want to do is just like I want to like get people onto like the system faster. I asked ChatGPT and it came up with, you know what's weird? It just did exactly what you did, where it went like Rose Garden. It added extra words, but like Rose Garden, trans rose.
I think the 10 Rose project
Rose-colored
is professional and
pathways.
legitimate enough. It includes.
That's a weirdly good name. Not for me, but like weirdly, the one it came up with was Rose-colored pathways. That's not a terrible naming scheme. Blossom Bloom Foundations.
The Evergreen Group, or the Egg for short.
Fuck. Fuck, man. Hello. Fuck. As a British trans woman that's been waiting for the first consultation for 4 years and has projected 7 more What? You have a fucking 11-year wait time? Oh, okay, okay, so actually, this is something I want to learn about. So, the longest I'd ever heard was 5 years, from Twitter. But I've heard a lot, I've heard a few that are like 6 or 7 years now, like that one I read before. But I asked Faye about this, because they had enough money to go private, and I believe they didn't. We talked about, me and Keffels and Faye were on a podcast together, on Keffels' stream, not a podcast, a little interview. And I asked them about this after stream, and they explained their reason. Not my story, but I've got a question, right? Whenever I looked into this, consultations and stuff, and this, by the way, this may very well come across as like asking the fucking guy, like asking the the guy that orders all his fucking groceries from Uber Eats, like, how much does a pint of milk cost? And I don't know. So when I looked into what the process would be like after I spoke to Abby, PhilosophyTube, it seemed like the price to start transitioning was at most about 100 a month, and usually is sitting around the 50 mark. And the wait times for that seem to be roughly anywhere between, honestly, no wait time, but usually between 2 and 6 months for private care. I'm not on about cosmetic surgery, because cosmetic surgery is a whole different thing. That's something else. That's not like hormones, that's not consultations, that's not medical stuff. The reason why there's a lot with this, and I spoke to Reza about this before, like for example, Marisa couldn't have got facial feminization surgery if she hadn't been on hormones for a while, right? So that's a big thing. There's a lot of surgeries that are like that. I don't know if that's like covered by state thing, like you've got to be doing this for X amount of time, but you need to be like on the system, essentially. That's a big thing. So that is the issue I want to like at. Also because cosmetic surgery can range, and if you look at, in my mind, like, I'd rather help the people that can't afford like the $500 a year that it costs, or $500 for 6 months that it costs to get into transition, like get into like getting hormones and getting on the medical system, so that it's like an acknowledged thing, than pay for like one specific type of cosmetic surgery like once, you know? Like FFS, that $50K budget can maybe pay for like 2 people, you know? But like it could help like a few hundred people if it's, you know, if it's done in the way that I want to, which is that first little step, which has the fucking giant waiting lists. So I'm not on about doing anything like that. I kind of just wanted to know, so this is a genuine question. I sort of just wanted to know, yeah, Gender GP is about 500 startup, then 1,000 a year for HRT blood work. So I meet a lot of people, so I've got a lot of DMs that are like, I've been on a wait list for, you know, 4 years at this point. So I feel like I'm missing something with this. Now, this isn't meant to be like anything. Just, you gotta take this as, look, I am genuinely, I'm trying to understand more than I am, like, you know, because there's something I want to do. The like, what does the, like, if the initial startup cost to go to like a GP is like a few £100, or not even that, for the initial consultation it'd be less, but I guess the ongoing treatment about 500 or so for the first few months at least. Best bets to pay for it. Why don't more people do that? The disposable income thing is fair. I know a lot of but surely in the, like, as a 4-year waitlist sort of thing, that could be done. It's also important for me to know this, by the way. I'm not just asking as like, excuse me, broke. Like, I've got to know, because if I'm doing, like, if I contact clinics, I need to know what qualifies. So, for example, if someone comes and they want to use my fund to fund their first year of transition, let's say, but they make 100K a year, then obviously that person wouldn't qualify to get, like, this thing, right? It should be for people that really genuinely can't afford it. So there's a reason why I ask. It's genuinely a thing. I do want to know people's reasoning for it. Paying for it means you choose a better doctor. No, I know. I'm saying, like, how come more people don't, I guess? How come more people choose the fucking shitty NHS waiting list? Gender GP share my care with NHS, luckily. Most do. For example, when I went to, like, you can't not, like, when you go to a private clinic for anything, any medical care, it's always on your system, because doctors sort of need to know that shit. Like, if you're on a medication that a private doctor gave you, but then you go to the NHS for a surgery, like, and you're out cold, they need to know. So it's all on the same system. So they'll know. That's what I mean by getting on an actual thing. It's also why I don't want to support the ones that are like, a lot of people DM me and they said, hey, look, this website does like this website does HRT and like it's everything like that, but it's more DIY. It's not something I want to get involved in, because it doesn't get you on like anything in the UK as, like, in terms of, you know, it doesn't help your records, which is a bit of an issue. I know some people who work for Gender GP. I don't really know how that system works too much. I've seen their name, though. A couple people have mentioned it. We've been brainwashed in the UK to fear private and ignore the shit the NHS does. But why would people carry on doing it, is my thing. Because there is a bit of a real note that, like, over the course of a few years, an initial, like, cost of maybe like £100 for a consultation or £200 for a consultation isn't unachievable. So I do wonder how that works, and it makes me feel like I'm missing something. That's why I want clarification. And no one's said anything that's like, oh, that's because of this. So maybe I don't know. Oh, someone DM'd me on Twitter a second ago. You may or not know the first hurdle to overcome in the UK is the initial diagnosis of gender dysphoria. So I did know that. That's what I'm trying to, like, go for, I guess. That's sort of why, like, that's why it's the thing. Turf Island sounds like a terrible place. Yeah, but, you know, one step at a time. Hopefully I can make it a little better. NHS needs some reform. Yeah, the thing is, I can't do anything about that. The thing that I can do is fund, like, private clinics, because they all share the same information. They're real doctors that, you know, they go through their, like, checks and everything, like, you know. Dude, I got a DM that was like, I see through you. It's a tax deduction.
The Blossom Project or the Blossom Foundation sound really cool. Represents positive change.
That was the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my entire life.
Personalized, but like, not narcissistic.
Like the fact that the UK lets me pay less tax on the money that I give away. Not even like Like, I pay, like, out of that 50k, I'm gonna pay 10 to the government, which is great. Thank you, government, for not taxing me that much. But, like, it doesn't mean I gain it. It means I pay a little less on the money that I gave away. I think, vastly, no one knows how taxes work. That's a lot. Yeah, the government takes an awful lot of money for literally nothing. I give away money to charity. We want our piece of that, though. Can I have a bit? Tax deductions encourage giving. It's not negative. Yeah, it's like... But the way they think about it is like I somehow gain out of that. Weird. Putting some votes... Yeah, nest... But it's too... I can't make anything to do with an egg thing, because it's... Number one, it's a little cringe, and number two, that's one of the things that I think are going to go away soon. Like, that's going to be one of those memes that we're going to look back on and go, ooh, you know? Like, I think that's one of those ones that we're going to look back on and think is weird, so I don't want to name something about it.
The Rose Foundation doesn't have to be egotistical. After all, it is a UK charity, and the rose is the national flower of Britain.
Is it? That's kind of cool. 10 months on estrogen today. Oh, congratulations. When you get to a year, do you get like a coin? Like a medal? I think that should be what we do as a part of the charity thing. We should give out medals for like, when you get to a year. We should give like a little medal. That could be fun. But like, yeah, no, the whole thing of like, is Finn trans? Is Finn not trans? Dude, people think that this is like a grift to fund a transition. Way past that. That was my main point. It's a grift to fund other people's transitions. That's more likely. Like, in all fairness, we could fund roughly 100 people's transitions as it is now. Which is kind of nuts, if you think about it. Like, considering how small the trans population is in the UK, like, with enough time with the charity, we could probably fund every trans person's fucking transition in the UK. I wonder how many people that is, like a few thousand trans people in the UK? We could probably do that. 600,000 trans people in the UK? That's like 1% of the population. How is that possible? Is the trans population really 1% of... Hold on. Really? I thought it was much lower than that. 600,000 trans people. Holy shit. Yeah, it's 1%. The best estimate. So there's no census on it, including people who identify as non-binary, but that's not going to be like the people that need to transition. UK says... Oh, hold on. Census Bureau. 262,000. If it takes... Okay. 262,000. Don't think I can fund all that. It's quite a lot. But you know, not everyone wants to medically transition, I guess. It's a big thing. That's a minimum. And also, that's a lot of people that, yeah, over, like, those are, it doesn't count the people that are trying to transition that can't. Anyway, so, what I was saying before was, like, there was some non-binaries who transition. Yeah, that's true. It really, obviously, that's an impossible stat. You need to purely do a census on, like, who's trying to medically transition, which is not really a big thing. Bro should actually run a charity for transitions. You realize I do, right? Like, that is what I do. that literally is what I'm doing. Like, that's what we're trying to, like, start. That's, like, the thing. I mean, not even trying to start. Like, that's what we do. Like, that's a thing. That is what I do. Yeah, it's a bit of a selfish thing. Like, like, you know the whole thing of, like, there's no such thing as, true altruism or whatever? You know? Like, I still, like... It's nice. I feel like, with this, I found the perfect thing. Like, I always get, like, how's a good way to explain it? It's really hard to find a life goal. Like, a life goal? There's monetary goals, like, sure, okay, you want to buy a house one day, or you want to be financially... whatever, or you want to jump, go skydiving. There's shit like that, but it's accomplishable. There's I like the idea of having a job that is, you know, like this. I like the idea of having, like, something that I know is going to benefit people, and I know is going to be, I know it's going to do a lot of good. I know it depends on the person. For me, I derive a hell of a lot of meaning from helping people, I guess. Like, it's a big thing for me. I don't really... I don't know how to explain it very well. But, like, the idea of that seems like a good... It seems like if that was what my life's achievement was, to run a charity and help trans people, especially in this, like, day and age, you know? Especially with the platform that I've got. I think I could be proud of my life. I think I could be very, very proud of what I've achieved if I was able to do that for a few hundred or thousands of people. I think that'd be really cool. It'd be really, really good. I could be very proud of that. And I've been working on something to be very proud of. It's hard to be proud of Minecraft videos. Like, they make money, but like, it's meaningless. I want something with meaning. And I think that's something I think that's something that I could very easily be... I could very easily look back at my life and say, that, I did that. And that's, like, I know I help people. I know that's like a... It's really hard to talk about this seriously while holding an open wine bottle. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's important to find something like that, no matter what it is for you. For me, I don't know. That's an important thing to me. I left to go eat. What happened? Nothing. Our streamer's a sweetheart. No. It's important to me that you see me as an asshole. You gotta maintain my character here. Like, dude, come on. I can't let you two into my life. Gotta maintain my fucking...
It is a fantastic goal to help people. You're a good bean.
Dude, well, no, okay, so I like to imagine... Okay, you know what? Okay, hear me out. If you were to put yourself in my position with the income that I have and the life, like, that I have... Like, don't get me wrong, obviously, the amount of money that I make is not reflective of what I put in my pocket at the end of every month, but, like, if you had the, like, the reach that I have... Would you not try and do a similar thing? It's insane to me that there are people that don't. Like, you know, like Mr. Beast is doing some really, really cool stuff with his giant audience. I think it would be absurd that he ever wouldn't, you know? Like,
I'm from the UK and trans, so if you want to pay for me to go into a gender clinic so I can pay for my own testosterone, it'll help as I've been waitlisted for years. Jammers pause Shrek.
Alright, fuck, help me. Okay, chat. People from the UK, I actually genuinely need your advice. If you're from the UK and you are trans, or you know anything about it,
First
I need
question,
your attention.
How many trans people are in chat?
This.
Secondly, as a trans individual, you help us so much, Finn. Thank you.
I'm trying. I want to do more. The biggest issue right now is getting it out of the UK. Like, the UK has a really big issue right now. The US has their own issues, don't get me wrong. The issue, obviously, this is something that's closer to me, and it's something I know the system of, but I don't know the US system, and I only recently heard about the issues that trans people face in the US that's like, social. It's hard to combat social issues. It's really much easier to combat gatekeeping issues, like medical gatekeeping, shit like that. That's a much easier thing to do. So, like, I'm not going to be able to lobby for fucking... like, you know, government and shit. And I don't even know if that's illegal. So, like, you know, I've got a limit to how much I can do with the, like, I'm not a billionaire. Like, you know, there's that, right? But I can do a bunch of, like, really effective work in the UK.
Plug laying by
in the US, I don't know.
That's a good girl. Way to help out the community.
Don't say that's a good girl. Fucking hell. Anyway, so here's the thing, right? I'm not an oil baron, I'm sorry. I want to ask the UK trans people something. Do you have any experiences with two organizations? I've been recommended two over and over again, and I want to poll you on it.
Trying to trans, but money and finances just won't permit. If anyone would lend a helping hand, it'd be forever in their debt for life. It's such a mindfuck and depresses me daily, even to the point of suicide at times.
That's what I mean. So you didn't mention where you're from, but hopefully that's something we could make available. So the one thing that I want to do in the UK, at least for the first starting year, is I want to have a partnered charity or couple... I want to have a partnered clinic or couple clinics that are able to finance that. So you'd be able to apply for that specifically. So the goal would be... The two places that I'm looking into are two places. One of them is... So Abby... I talked to Abby about it originally. Abby has given me her opinions on this one thing, on two things actually, and one of them that she recommended was a place called London Transgender Clinic. So, London Transgender Clinic, London is a good sort of area because, you know, people can get there pretty easily, train lines connect. Travel in the UK is very easy. You know, you're talking, you can go from Scotland to London for like $40, you know? Like, it's not the craziest thing in the world because of train lines, how it is, especially if you book ahead. So, the other one is much more accessible. It's one that I've been recommended a lot, called Gender GP. Now, that's one of the closer ones that I think some of you may have heard of. It's also the one that I got a ton of Twitter DMs about. So I was interested if any of you have any experience specifically with Gender GP and how you found it. All of the reviews that I found have been pretty good. No, not Gender GP. Why? There's an issue that they're fairly expensive, but obviously it's kind of a non-issue for what we're doing, because that's the whole goal. Gender GP is good, but can be a hassle due to cost. That's what I mean. The price is high, right? So that's what I mean. If it's just a pricing issue, then that's like, right. If it was if it's a great service and I can make it free for people, isn't that perfect?
Well, I wasn't using this, so here's to a good cause. Plus, first time catching a stream.
There's only one thing I have an issue with Gender GP. I use Gender GP, but both NHS GPs have issues with working with them. Yeah, I believe my friend went to Gender GP. I'll ask her for info. That would actually be really helpful stuff. Thank you. There's one thing I have an issue with Gender GP, and it's that they focus somewhat heavily on like, now I'm going to say something and you're going to have to bear in mind that I'm not going to give you my final opinion on this. For example, with Gender GP, I've looked into Gender GP, and it's obviously not something that I want to heavily promote if I don't know about, if I don't have like proper details. I don't want to promote them if I don't have like perfect thing. I'm sorry the streams got really serious, by the way. I'm not being super entertaining, but this is like sort of quite an important thing that I have like an opportunity to poll people about, and so I'm really sorry. You're gonna have to bear with me. That like I really want to ask, because I know that a ton of my audience is like, you know, LGBT, trans, everything like that. Like I know a lot of my audience is trans, and I know a lot of people might know about these issues. So you gotta help me here.
I'm looking
trying
for a wholesale discount on transitions. It's for a friend.
So here's the idea, right? With Gender GP, they seem to have like a subscription plan for their services. As far as I'm aware, this is how it works. They seem to have a subscription plan for their services, getting prescriptions, everything like that. It seems to be relatively easy to do stuff like that. Now, the reason why I'm sort of 50-50 on Gender GP is a very controversial reason. If we do ever start fundraising, now don't get me wrong, some of this I can cover for, like some of it I can say, well, look, here's the area that we're covering for, and here's the areas that we're not. But there's a controversial thing about this, which is puberty blockers. I have to be pretty open and honest with you on this, because obviously, if I'm running this as a charity myself, you're talking to like the person that runs it. I've got to give you my thoughts on it, and I've got to make sure I translate them right. It's going to be really difficult to fundraise for that issue. It's not necessarily that I have a strong opinion either way about it. It's more that it's a controversial topic even within the community. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on it, but I get that it can be really divisive. Like, it's a hot button topic right now. While I agree with the whole like puberty blockers save lives, yeah, so puberty blockers are non-controversial. So that's what I mean. Okay, this is a topic about, okay, puberty blockers seem to be relatively non-controversial and reversible, right? But, by the way, again, I'm going to reiterate, you've got to remember, I am a cis guy trying to understand these topics, and I've read an awful lot of research papers about a lot of stuff. Obviously, Ten is running this with me, and he's a doctor, and so I've got the utmost, you know, level of fucking knowledge about this, but I do not know absolutely everything. And because this is a bit of a new thing, I do like hearing about your opinions on all this. My only regret is not going on blockers. So blockers, I believe, are a completely reversible thing, as far as I've heard. Obviously, it delays the effects of puberty and all that, but there's so much misunderstanding about it that it may be hard to get people on board with the idea of. I do wonder how you'd feel about either running this one of two ways. I'm so sorry this is getting so serious. I'm wearing a fucking French maid dress, but I'm really interested. So, in the UK, that'd be under 16, yeah. So, this is not giving fucking under 16 or under 18s, like, if they're male estrogen, if they're female testosterone. This is not that. This is puberty blockers, so they can wait for a while and then know what they want to do, so they don't start masculinizing or feminizing when they don't want to. Now, the issue around the topic is usually about misunderstanding, because if you say puberty blockers and you say child, like if you talk about children and transgender like topics and shit, people tend to go transitioning children, scary, bad. Obviously, I was a fucking dumbass when I was 16, and everyone seems to think they're a fucking dumbass when they were 16. But that's sort of the issue, right? Like, I could never have made that decision when I was a child. Puberty blockers, though, no offense, but you sound like a man. I literally am a man. I identify as I am a man. I'm not even trans. Like, I am a man. So let me let you in on how this works behind the scenes, right? Essentially, what we do is we contact a clinic. We contact a clinic that would be able to take donations like this, because it's for example, Gender GP, in totality, in all of their years of fundraising and everything like that, has raised £66,000 or something along those lines. So we're coming in with 50 grand and saying, hi, right? Like, you've raised this amount of money in your entire time that you've been a company, entire time you've been an establishment. We're going to give you that again now, right? That's it? Right, exactly. People care shockingly little about trans healthcare. That's my issue. That's the reason why I want to do this so badly.
Honestly, I would worry about having issues fundraising if you're supporting an organization that does puberty blockers. The kind of people who are against them probably wouldn't donate regardless.
So that's what I'm saying. It's a frustrating reality. So here's what we can do. What we can do is contact a clinic, not Gender GP. We don't know if it's going to be a thing. We haven't had a conversation with them. This is just us thinking, right? If we contact a clinic like Gender GP that does a similar thing, and we say, hey, here's this pot of money. You could have all of it or a bit of it. Like, just, you can have it, right? Here's the people that qualify. What we'd say is something along the lines, we can do this two ways, right? We can say something along the lines of, all right, obviously we want this to be different for people that can afford it versus can't afford it. If someone contacts you, saying they can't afford it, or so Gender GP specifically has a ask us any questions thing that is much, much cheaper. If they contact that place and they say, my income is lower than X amount, let's say 5k a year, 10k a year. So you're sort of under part-time job sort of territory there. They can't afford this program. They can't afford it. They really want to. The wait lists are really long, like that person said. It's a very big deal, but they can't afford it. Those are the people we want to help support. Whether they're trans masc, trans femme, it really does not matter to us. The main thing is that if they can't afford what they want to do, we would help them out with that. Now, it's too low in my opinion. I'm making up numbers, by the way. I could say like 20 grand a year. I could say whatever. You've got to understand I'm coming at this from like, you know, we'd have to get data from the companies in order to find out what usually creates financial constraint in people, right? If people usually have an issue affording it at 10 grand a year, then that's what we'll target. If people usually have an issue if they're unemployed, that's another thing. We're talking X amount and lower, right? Because I don't want to cut people off if they don't have a job, you know, obviously, right? This is early brainstorming. Yeah, sorry. It's very clear. I'm just talking right now, okay? So I'm asking for input and your thoughts, okay? Because I want this to be a bit of a thing. Like, it's a fun thing. Like, we're sort of doing this together. That's how I always see it. Like, me and you guys, right? Like, me and Ten are running it, sure. But, it's gonna be based on you guys a lot. Like, I'm relying on you for a lot of input and your thoughts. Because I can't just go on a few people's opinions. I want to go on community-driven opinion. All this used to get handled by back alleys and black market with some guy in a trench coat. Yeah, what we want to stay away from is people doing like DIY stuff. Now, it's not like DIY's bad. I know, I don't want to name names. There's a lot of people that I know that have done DIY. People do DIY because it's their only option. Exactly. This is what I mean. A big issue in the UK is that, especially in the UK, I'd say, I'm sure it's a thing in a bunch of other countries. Obviously, I'm English-speaking, so I only know the English-speaking countries, Australia, America, and the UK. And I understand how in the US there's a bunch of other issues. But in the UK, this is what I'm most familiar with. Especially in Europe, right? So waiting lists can be so insanely long that people are forced to DIY. So here's why it's so important to be working with a doctor. 10 has operated on the risks on the brain tumor that there's a risk of cyproterone acetate. It's an important risk that you know of. Just FYI. This is for any trans healthcare in the European Union. Even if you're on a system, this is not a HR, this is not a DIY anything. This is normal, and a doctor would tell you this. If you're prescribed it. But cyproterone acetate has a higher risk of having a benign brain tumor that I didn't write down, and I kind of wish I did, but I could just ask 10. But luckily, so here's what I spoke to. When I spoke to this guy, had a feeling he's a neurosurgeon. Anyway, so I don't want to give any details about 10 away. So when I spoke to this doctor, we had a bit of a laugh and a joke about the brain tumor. Hear me out. Okay, hear me out. It's not me. And all right, we had a bit of a laugh and a joke about the brain tumor. Okay. Specifically because we were laughing about the idea that, look, as far as brain tumors go, now this is not to whatever. There is a risk of having a benign brain tumor with this, is a higher risk associated with it. For trans women that have taken 100 milligrams, which is very high, by the way, very high, and usually isn't prescribed, 100 milligrams of cyproterone acetate over 10 years, they have there's a much higher chance, not like it goes from like a fucking nothing percent chance to like a 10% chance, nothing like that, but it is 10 times or 7 times what it usually is, and I've kind of forgotten, and I feel a little bad that I didn't write that down. Over a 10-year term of having a very high cyproterone acetate dosage. Now, luckily, the reason why I was laughing about it is because when I asked about it, I asked 10 about it before I had this meeting with this other doctor, and he said, yeah, no, this brain tumor is not really a big deal. In the words of the doctor, if you could wish on a genie for a brain tumor, this would be the best one. Like, it's very easily operable, everything like that. It's worth knowing, and it's obviously a very scary thing, and it can be deadly, and you never want a brain tumor, but it is a thing, and you should know that. But it's very easily operable, and it's usually not very deadly, so cool. Obviously, if you fucking leave it forever, then, you know, but it's a benign tumor, usually. Only the best of brain tumors for my patients, they say. Because I'm in a public forum, I really cannot speak to anything I haven't been told that I know from a doctor. You know, like, I can't say, like, well, I've heard progesterone does, like, I can't speak to any of this shit. You guys can talk about it on your own, through different groups, everything like that. I just cannot be I can't be the person that delivers finished transgender. No, but I'm trying to help. Thank you, Finn. I have much greater respect for you. It's been like all I've been doing. I have a question. I have a few questions. Specifically about the fundraising thing. So, I want to know your thoughts on this, and then I'll turn donos back on. And I'm reading chat pretty intently, so feel free to talk there. So, with the fundraising thing, with a clinic like Gender GP, not saying that it would be Gender GP, where they prescribe, they do work with, like minors, they do work with, like, they do puberty blocks, everything like that. Fundraising to that would be rough. The option that we have is to exclude that. It would raise more money for people that are over the age of 18, that are seeking care, but it's obviously a rough decision. We'd have to say on our guidelines, the people that can apply for this grant, this, like, financing, are people that are over the age of 18 and they make this amount of income. I've got to have an idea on how people feel about that. It's quite a hard topic to raise awareness for, because it's very, you know, don't exclude. It's a divisive thing. I know that it's gonna be a divisive thing, but I do want to know your thoughts on it. I would agree at this point in the UK, limits it to adults. The idea is we want to do the most work and the most good. Obviously, it's a rough decision to go. Technically, more people would be helped if we excluded it. Objectively. Excluding is a harsh word, but this would be over 18s, essentially. But it's rough. The most people get the most help if we say it's a over 18s program. So here's another thing that I'm playing with. There might be a path to go down in the future if we do ever start fundraising, to donate the majority, so whatever fund you want to donate to, whether it be an under 18s program or it be this, I don't necessarily have a particular problem with like puberty blockers specifically. It might be a thing where we need to give two separate things. That's the best I got, where people can choose where the money's going. So yeah, it'd be solid. I reckon we can probably do it as two separate things. That's the best idea I've got. You guys are tired, but I'm not. Another charity trans youth? Indeed. That might be what we need to do.
Also, if you overdo estrogen, your body starts to think that you are pregnant. And yes, you can start lactating from it. Totally not speaking from experience. Cold sweat smile.
Jesus Christ. Alright, didn't know that one. That's new for me.
This is the first time I hear about the plan. I love the idea. This will help so many people.
That's the plan. That's the plan. It's just fucking hard. That's the plan. There's just so much fucking bureaucracy in it, bro. I'm working on it.
Elaborate. Treatments for trans people carry risks.
Yep.
Skeptics like to focus on those while ignoring the dangers of untreated gender dysphoria.
Yeah, that's the very important thing. That's why we don't... So, that actually... Wait, that's a good point. I'm going to quickly mute for a sec. That's a good point. One of the things that we're trying to do is specifically... The reason why I'm happy with the plan, the reason why I'm pursuing this so much, is because we're not being the direct arbiters of who does what and who gets what. These are people... The people that are going through this system are people that have been checked by doctors, and they're good. I'm not just, like, picking people off the street that apply to me. They go to a clinic, they get all their stuff covered there, and then when they're, you know, I'm not the arbiter of this. I can say who gets, I can say who is eligible for stuff, for grants and everything like that, but I can use the medical system here in order to check people for that. So I'm never going to be the person that's deciding like that. It's going to be a very automatic system. Should be good. It's rough to set up, but we're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing good. You're gonna do it in a suit or the maid outfit? Oh no, I'll be going to all the meetings in the maid outfit. Yeah. The main issue we're trying to tackle is, like, to be honest with you, it's a little dark. It's a little bit of a dark topic, but it's serious, and that's why I want to. That's why it's this topic that I chose. The rate of like self-harm and suicidal ideation is so absurdly high in the transgender community. It's a darker thing, but yeah, no, like, it's obviously, you know, it's a worthy thing to try and help. It's a good cause to champion, I guess. It's, I think it works well, and I've obviously had a similar thing with. I guess maybe it connects to me a little bit more. Like, while I may not be trans, while I may not be a trans woman, obviously the community is very close to me, and I've gone through the same sort of mental health issues that can come from, you know, a lack of support. So, I don't know. Obviously, no such thing as fucking true altruism and all that. It's a very close topic to me. Mental health stuff is very, very close. And due to the community that I've fostered and what I do for a living, the trans community is sort of, I'm not going to cry, suck my dick. The trans community is very close to me. And if I can do any help, I don't know, I would be very happy with that. It's very, like, you know what I mean? If I can reduce those numbers by a bit, by like 1, then, you know, seems like you might cry. No! Fuck you! Suck my little fucking big old, suck my big old nuts. But no, like, I was in a similar place, you know. I get the feeling. I get the feeling of, like, not getting the support you need and being feeling so hopeless that it's, you know, fucking, but that's what you feel like, and I really hate that as a feeling. It's kind of not pog. So if this is the thing that I can most actively help. I'd love that. I'd love that. That could be... I could do it forever. You're drinking, you're gonna cry? I'm not gonna cry. Look at my eyes. Dry. In fact, I need to blink more. I'm not gonna cry. No one said it yet, but thank you. Listen, no money's left the account. We haven't done shit. I'm still learning. I wouldn't give me thank yous yet until we've started helping people. And don't get me wrong, I'll make it known. I'll make it known when we start helping people because I will want the bragging rights. So, I want the ego boost. So I'll tell you. My God. Did you choose a name? Oh shit, we did choose a name. Fuck me, I didn't tell you. We chose a name. So... Wait, shit, I probably shouldn't tell you until we got it, like, set up. I probably shouldn't tell you, but I will tell you that someone donated on stream, and I've chosen that name. I checked with it with 10 if he liked it, and we've chosen a name for the charity. I won't tell you it until it's officially registered and everything like that. But yeah, we've chosen a name. Nice. And it's not Rose Fund. Spill the bean? I can't. I will have it. The domain registered, that's not really a big deal. It's more the company registry, everything like that. Make it a thing. So, yeah, I have my meeting on the 25th for it, and we'll get it all set up by then. Company house should take like 1 or 2 weeks, so expect a answer to that in about 1 or 2 weeks. Nice. So, yeah, company will be officially a thing in 1 or 2 weeks. For the 50k that we've already got, that's already set, so that's, you know... Like, assuming we get, like, a perfect fucking applicant, like, assuming we get, like, a perfect place that we can give money to, that can happen immediately. It doesn't need to wait a couple weeks or 3 weeks or whatever. It doesn't need to wait. We can just do it immediately. Like, I'm fine taking the tax hit on shit like that. All good. Nice. Solid. Cool. I know you can register it really, really quickly, but, like, obviously, I've got to wait till do it properly. A company's cool, a charity has a lot more oversight.
You silly bean.
Hello?
You think you're just a dude, but how many other people are trying to run a charity to help other people? You get that right? Most people prefer to throw money at it and pretend it isn't there. You aren't flawless. But you are wonderful.
All good. If I can wear a latex major,
you're doing
good,
a good job, F1.
So for example, when I was checking out Gender GP for like the charity stuff, and I think I've given as much information as charity as I can at this point that I can talk about. But like when I was checking out Gender GP as like a potential recipient, I still got to speak to them directly, but I really should figure out my like status in the government first. It's kind of hard to set up a charity. Working on it. So when I was checking out them, I noticed they did something that was like makeup lessons. It was like makeup to like tutoring. For like 50 minutes, it was like 40 quid. So like, I didn't realize that would be a big market, especially because there's so many free resources out there, you know? And it's sort of, no matter who you listen to, it's sort of a trial and error period anyway, you know? Thank you.
Been trying to troll you or wind you up, but I am genuinely impressed on how much you have done for trans plus etc community. I love you, my dude. You rock.
Yeah, I'm glad I found like a little... This is selfish as fuck, but like I'm really glad that I found like something I can attach a life meaning to. I think I might have spoken about this before. Maybe, I don't know. But like the charity stuff, you know when it's like there's no such thing as true altruism? Like you're always going to do something for the... Like, there's always going to be a purpose that benefits you. I feel like, I don't know, I get an awful lot about, like, helping people. I get an awful lot of, like, joy and meaning and feeling of, like, you know, fucking, it's a stupid statement. Well, there's no such thing as true altruism is true. Like, there'll always be a selfish mechanism to it, right? And sure, I think that's objectively true. I wouldn't say like, okay, if you're being altruistic, I don't think that because it helps, because it makes you feel good, that it's bad. I generally agree with the idea that there's no such thing as true altruism. And I like the thing of like, look, it's easier for me to like do good things if I can, in my brain, go like, I'm just doing this for me. Like, I'm just being selfish about this and I'm gonna do it. You know, it's easier for me to reconcile with it, you know, because I get, it's the same way that, like, I get so many fucking compliments on the internet. I have to not believe them, because if I did, you've seen how I reacted when I did. And if I did, I'd just turn into a fucking egomaniac. It'd be absurd, right? So, you know, the thing with the charity has been very, very fun and very, very good. And I feel like it's easily something I think I'm really excited about being able to finally do something that like affects people that I can look at and measure. And I think it'd be really, really cool. And I know that it'll help I know that it'll help a lot of people that need it. And I know that I can there's like, this is all deep, but like, okay, you know when you think about like life meaning and shit? There's not much to it. Like, you can make as much money as you want. You can go buy houses. You buy fucking Lambos and shit. Andrew Tate the fucking thing. I'm just not that sort of dude. I just don't need millions and millions of dollars. I just don't need it. Like, it's just not a thing. It's the same. It's the reason why I didn't fundraise for the charity. It's just out of my pocket right now. It's just it. Like, it's just, I don't need that level of wealth. And I much more value the idea of progressing in my own life, in terms of my own personal meaning, and helping people. Yeah, like it's fun. It's nice. If I was done, if my life was cut short, if I was done, if this was it, and I could say, well, you know, I know that I helped an awful lot of people. I know that I was a net positive in the world in any way. I'd be happy with it, and that's what I've been trying to do.
What you're saying now
forever.
is exactly why I started Transactive Gender Project, and how I feel about doing it now, 17 years later.
Yeah. It's like, it's one of those things that I mean, 17 years ago, fucking hell. You gotta imagine I'm coming into this in the easiest possible state. I've got the most privilege in this. Like, I'm young, I have money. Like, dude, I'm good. I've got like a sphere of influence and shit. And I feel like it would be wrong to not utilize it for anything good. And I don't want to, I always felt bad about like using an audience to further a goal. But there's like, so I never really wanted it to be like, I never planned on doing any fundraising. I just knew that I wanted to do good, but everyone asked about fundraising. So I'd never planned on it, but you guys really wanted to like contribute to it, so I might. Maybe if there was a charity that I knew that 100% of the profits went to the charity, then I feel good about it. I don't.
Saying you were heavily motivated by money.
I think I'm just scared of money, or I'm scared of the lack of money. I think everyone is. It's fear of failure. It's a general thing, you know, fucking up. But yeah, no, charity thing's gonna be really good. I'm really excited about it. I think that if you asked any of my friends, the way that I talk about it is like, I don't know. I'm just very excited about it. A lot of people have been like, a lot of people have heard how I've talked about what I want to do with it.
Woo.
A lot of my friends I've talked about like what I want to do with it in the future. Now that people have like, so I tweeted the thing out. I didn't expect it to go anywhere. I was just going to give 50k to charity. All good. I wanted to make it so I knew where the money was going. It's a much more it's like a much more fucking intensive process, obviously, to make a charity from scratch, but than just to donate money to one. But I wanted to do that work so I knew that all the money was going to the right place. But hearing, like, talking to a lot of friends about what I was doing, a lot of them wanted to be involved with it. Like, a lot of them wanted to, like, help out and shit, which is fucking awesome, by the way. Like, you'd be surprised the amount of content creators. I like to make the joke a lot that, like, every fucking social media... Dude, every fucking social media person, every YouTuber, every Twitch streamer, they're a goddamn sociopath. But for some reason, when they're given the opportunity, they tend not to be, which is quite nice. Like, I don't want to name names or anything, but, you know my friends and who they are. In fact, fucking, I will name names, because one of them is Juicy. Juicy's been really into the idea of it. I told him what I was doing, and he immediately started coming up with good content ideas of, like, how he'd want to help out. He didn't even question it. Raise money for a good cause? Fuck it, let's do it. Juicy's a great fucking guy. Really great dude. He didn't even question the idea of it. He was immediately on board with the idea. And it was great. It's been really, and there's been a good few people that were immediately, yeah, fuck it, let's do it. Let's do something together. Let's make some content. Let's, you know, and it's been really cool to see that, like, personal thing. It's
Because you want to feel good, you still have done something good for other people. You had not done all this, I would probably not be alive, and I think a lot of people here feel the same, so thank you. Worth it.
Undercut immediately. Yeah. I feel like it's weird to have my level of, like, platform. No one's ever asked me to, in all fairness. Like, no one's ever said, like, oh, you've got a big platform, you should be doing this, this, this. No one's ever asked, but, like, it just feels weird to me to not try and do something.
Excuse me while I sit.
On Friday, I have a really cool meeting lined up. I have a meeting with the CEO of, ooh, should I say? Oh. I have a meeting with the fund manager of a major trans clinic. You can probably guess which one just by that, I guess. But like, an ex-CEO of a charity, of a trans charity, a very popular trans charity, and now they're working as the fund manager for this other clinic that I wanted to work with, and I want to talk to and get their opinions on things. It's gonna be a really it's gonna be a really fun meeting. I can't wait to do it. It's gonna be great. The but yeah, that's lined up on Friday. I'm really fucking excited for it. In theory, we can finally get moving on some of this. It's really bureaucratic and annoying, but they seem like good spirits, and it's cool. And I get to meet them. It's gonna be great. I think it's gonna be really fun. I'm a little nervous. I can't lie to you because this is kind of a big deal. But yeah, if this goes well, it's been such a slow roll. Oh, you mean like the charity? Yeah, it's almost like it's hard. It's almost like it's kind of hard work. But yeah, it's fucking stuff's happening, man. I'm excited. This is cool. There's like, is that a wig? No, 100% of the fucking all the money is going to charity. There's no bureaucratic shit. It's just going to patients and stuff. We might be able to start fundraising if things go well in the future. If this doesn't go well, we will move on to the next one. But if it does go well, nice. We might be able to dedicate a cool part of this to that. Nice. Cool. Wheels are turning. I'm fucking excited, man. I'm fucking excited. But yeah. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. I just wanted to talk about that because I'm fucking so goddamn excited. I'm so fucking excited. Sorry, I'm hyped. I'm really, really hyped. I want to have this meeting. I got like the little confirmation thing of like, here's the Google Meet link, and I went, fuck yes. Yes! Like, we're doing it. It's fucking happening. Finally getting this fucking money to somewhere. It's gonna help people. It's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good! I'm excited. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be really, really cool. I gotta talk about a ton of stuff about like, patient care cost, everything like that. We gotta learn how to like dedicate funds to certain places. About who gets like how much each thing costs, where it's gonna be moved to, everything. Good. Yeah. What's the name of the charity? I wouldn't share it just in case things don't work out. I still like the charity. I still like the clinic that we're working with as a place. But just in case things don't work out, I obviously don't want to funnel anything weird their way. But if it does work out, then I will immediately tell you. So, fuck yes. Things are moving. This is dope. This is dope. Anyway, all right, fellas. You get so excited over this. I know, because dude. It's cool. Like the prospect of like, don't fuck it up. I know. The prospect of like even this little, it like $50,000 is a lot of money, but it's also in the scheme of like in the grand scheme of like medicine and shit, not a lot. But in theory, from what I've estimated, that's gonna help like a lot of fucking people. It's gonna be really good. Like that gets. If I do some math from what I think costs are, yeah, that would get care to hundreds of people. Hundreds, man. Oh my god, Tyler, my voice is cracking because I've been streaming so long. Hundreds of fucking people, man. This is gonna be great. Small start, but we'll do it. Hundreds, we'll turn it into thousands, baby. Fucking hell yeah. All right. Any news on the charity? I do have news on the charity. Oh shit. Okay. Oh shit. Oh shit. Do you want to hear about the charity? How'd the meeting go? Alright, do you want to hear about that? Do you want to hear about the charity, dude? Because good shit's happening, we think. We think. I don't know how much I can say, but I can say like 90% of it, which is pretty cool. Should I do my makeup while we talk about it? So I can look pretty? I don't know if you guys were aware. I had a relatively important meeting. I had a meeting with the ex-CEO of the biggest trans charity in the UK, which was pretty fucking cool. Like, biggest charity in general. They weren't a healthcare anything. They were just like, the CEO, ex-CEO of the biggest trans charity in the UK. They're actually the ex-CEO of one of the companies that everyone wanted me to check out more when I announced the initial thing. And I fucking had a meeting with them. So I got a ton of information from them about... You bitch, you did a video of Philosophy Tube? I did do a video of Philosophy Tube. It's out on the 24th. It's gonna be cool. Oh yeah. I got into a meeting with them about how to best to set up the charity. Like, I got a bunch of info from them, and it was so cool. And shit's looking good. We actually look like this money's gonna go somewhere fast. How did I cut myself on the door handle? Anyway, it looks like this is gonna happen in like 3 months. We're gonna be able to get this money out of my hands and into like this fund that like we're setting up. I don't know how much I can say, but like, fuck yeah. Yeah, it's like a couple, dude, couple months. We got like almost a date, like a couple months, and it fucking goes, and we can start picking up, trans patients' healthcare. So I've got information about it for you, which is very fun. I learned, essentially, there is no way we could ever make enough money to satisfy demand, which is a little sad. Like, it's sort of fucked up. But it was important information to get because we didn't know how useful this money was going to be. We needed to know, essentially, how many people are going to actually need and make use out of this thing should we get it. Like, are we, like, if everyone, obviously we know this is not true, but if, like, 99% of people that go for trans care privately can afford it and, are able to afford it, we have no function, right? Like, there's no point giving money, and that'd be great. That's the reality that we want. I don't want to exist. I don't want to give fucking money to charity. I shouldn't need to. The government should be fucking doing it, but they won't. So, in the meantime, that's why I'm doing this in the UK, by the way, if people don't know. I'm trying to provide access to healthcare, because the government decided not to. Are you a guy? Yeah. So, anyway, shit's going really well, and we think we will be able to. We learned the cost per patient stuff. I'm so happy, by the way. The cat ears are backwards. Actually, you know what? Holy shit, you're right. This one time you are actually right. They were backwards. You fuckers, you were right. This is the one time you were right. I hate you. Fuck.
Meow, 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 purr, meow.
You little bastards, a lot of you. So... yeah, we had to confirm a couple things. Me and Ten had some worries. Basically, this is private healthcare, and the government don't like charities that set up private healthcare, which is one of the tips I got from Susie, her name is. So, what's it called? So, the government don't really like it when you do that, and neither does the media. So... she gave me a good amount of tips about how to handle that, whatnot, and that was very good. But we got like cost per patient because it is private healthcare. They do technically have a reasonable reasonable want to get people on private systems and then have them pay for it forever, right? And obviously, no one wants that. We don't want to spend a ton of money on private healthcare when we don't need to.
The government can suck it.
Government can suck it. Fuck the government. Unless they implement good rules, in which case, thank you, government. But, reasonably, a healthcare provider could do that. However, from speaking to them, when we brought up concerns about such a thing, they completely alleviated them. Their ultimate goal is to get people off of private healthcare systems and onto the NHS as fast as possible and as, like, safely as possible, right? Which is exactly what I want. As soon as someone's taking, like, medication for things, doctors are a lot easier, like, GPs are a lot easier to sort of start administering things like blood tests, which takes away some of the expense for the patients and stuff, which is awesome. That's exactly what we're after. So, dude, I don't want to bore you with all this stuff. You gotta let me know if you're bored by me talking about it. But, like... I don't know, man. I'm excited. I know that we're going to be able to help a lot of people. And it's really cool knowing that this is going somewhere. and this is something we're going to be able to do. And I think so far we're in good company. I was very impressed by talking to who we talked to, and yeah. Now, the main criticism of the place, so the place that we want to work with does have, like, criticisms. Like, some people don't like it for specific reasons, and one of them is that the service could tend to be expensive. But obviously, that's the fix. So technically, pretty cool. That's the fix that we're trying to, sort of come up with. They also, like, offer discounted rates for things, but yet some people still are not able to afford the rates for access to healthcare and shit. So, for the people that can't afford it, that's the group that we're after, right? That's the one where you go, okay, well, if you can't afford the reduced rate of things, did you know Finster set up a little charity thing that, just straight up pays for it for you for, like, X amount of time, right? Which is pretty cool. Nice. There'll be, like, 6 monthly review periods. I know a lot of you are probably more on the side of trans femme than trans mask, I believe. I'm not sure. I think the biggest thing with me was that I felt like I was not really doing much. And this is pretty fucking cool. Like, I always felt bad about, like, well, not even I felt bad. I just felt like I could be doing more. I just always felt like I could be doing more in every fucking aspect, but I think that, like, the helping other people is such, like, I mean, obviously there's no such thing as fucking altruism, but, if you want to take it selfishly, it makes me feel good to know that I'm helping people and to know that people are having a better time. So selfishly, I get a lot out of that. But I do know that helping a lot of people is also good. So I feel like net bonus to the world. I get to selfishly satisfy a little bit of, like, yeah.
Trans W happened this week in Spain. Trans youth can self-report their gender without any medical consultation, and legal transition is gonna be so much easier for everyone. Very, very happy about it.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah, the UK blocked a bill recently in Scotland. Well, like, sort of recently. Which was fun. So, UK, we're on Turf Island. I'm hoping one day I get on fucking J.K. Rowling's radar. I want, like, I want to receive, like, listen, I get a lot of death threats. I want to get one from J.K. Rowling. I will not stop until I do. That's my ultimate goal. It's now out there. J.K., I'm on you. I'm fucking... You and me, buddy, in the fucking ring. Go on, let's go!
I'd be surprised if there were many trans mask people watching you. If they're hoping for tips on how to be masculine, they're going to be disappointed.
Well, I also learned that, so for example, the clinic, I'll let you know, you may have, like, if you want to do your own research into it, cool. I would also like tips. I don't want to get, like, random fucking Finn, you're a little bastard if you're thinking about working with these people. Like, I don't want any of that. Just, like, do research on it. Because we're also talking to multiple people. So, place we were thinking of working with is called Gender GP.
I would pay an exorbitant amount of money to see you elbow drop J.K. Rowling.
Fuck yeah, listen, no violence here. I'm not promoting any violence, but in a battle of Twitter DMs, me and J.K. Rowling hit me in the ring, brother.
Hey, baby, 23 months.
Gender GP, very good. A lot of people use Gender GP. Actually, garbage, that's a real shame. See what I mean? You know what I mean? But, like, it depends how you mean if they're garbage. Oh, dude, I found the per patient care, by the way. Do you want to know how much it costs? It was more expensive than I thought. But, like, per patient, in terms of just, like, the drugs, waffles, maybe. If you just, in terms of just, like, the drugs, that, like, hormone treatment, everything like that, blockers are expensive. Hormone treatment stuff, E is weirdly cheap, but, like, so is testosterone's a little expensive, but not compared, anyway. But, like, it's something like average cost for a trans mask patient is like 1.8k a year, including everything, like mandatory blood tests, doctor's visits, stuff like that, and hormone treatment cost. HRT is 70 a month, yeah. So about, that would be like 800, 900 a year. So, but for like, but you gotta get all the testing and shit too, like blood tests, everything. It's pretty pricey. It is. It sucks. That's why people can't afford it. That's what we're trying to fix.
For private donations once the charity is operational?
Yes. But there's so many issues. Like, I gotta talk to accountants about it and stuff, and Susie let me know that she could help me out with the accountancy-wise, like tax stuff, because obviously I don't want like 20% of the money going to like the government if they keep doing shitty rules. I want it to be like as charity. But the thing is, running something as a charity means you have a fuck ton of oversight, and you also get a fuck ton of journalists after you. They're like, why are you fucking funding these fucking trans people? And I don't want to deal with them. Journalists suck so bad. They one of them from Bloomberg reached out to me, and I was like, fucking Bloomberg, dude? Fucking Bloomberg? I want to do an interview with fucking Bloomberg, bro. And then it was like, and the way they DM me was like, we're really interested in your like career and everything. We'd love to talk to you about it with the like, we're doing a piece on like how people make money online and everything. And you know what the article, and I declined. I didn't answer the email. I didn't say no, but I didn't answer the email. And it was a straight up hit piece, dude. That's something I want to make pretty cool, is like, I want to have the charity separate
Happy to
from
be
me,
subbing to the
cool.
subby wobby.
Christ. Oh, dude. Gender GP have overpriced sign-on fees. They don't answer patients' emails for like 2 weeks. They change medication with zero notice. I'm gonna go.
Save the mushy donos for when he starts drinking.
I will combat you on that one. So, are they over... Oh, I don't know if they're overpriced. They cost a lot of money, but that's kind of what we're doing. That's kind of the solution. That's kind of the fix.
There's nothing wrong with being a sub.
That's kind of what we're fixing. So like money issue, that's no problem, because that's what we're doing. In terms of like they change they wouldn't do that. And also I've gone through their system to see it. Like I've had to do it in able to like know their system, right? And they were pretty solid.
As the biggest sub I know, you're way more of a sub than me.
I had to learn it if I was going to endorse it, right? So, I know I spoke to them about everything. I've gone through this. No, I'm not getting fucking hormones from I mean, I've gone through their, like, fucking whole thing. I've gone through their... I've spoken to, like... I spoke to one of their doctors, actually, which was very good as part of, like, the little meeting I had with them. Like, very nifty. I got a lot of good info about what they do, what they use, what they prescribe, everything like that, what they recommend, what, you know, everything. And they're, like, gathering information about it, and they were very informative, which was pretty cool. In terms of a first start sort of thing, well, there are different places, and there's always going to be a better option locally. If we're trying to tackle, like, the entirety of the UK, that seems, and some of Europe, that actually seems like a solid option. Like, because they're online, you know? Pretty nifty. I've got a good system for it. I find it very interesting. Anyway, part of you doing some ethical research instead of just picking a random clinic and not caring. No, dude, we care a fucking ton, bro. It was really important. You gotta remember, the person I'm working with is 10, and 10's a doctor. Like, dude, I'll get, like, I'll, like, say, like, this is what I've found, would you like to read this research paper on it? And then he fucking does. And, like, it's been pretty good because, like, having an actual doctor around that, like, had working with charities in clinics, really fucking helpful when you're trying to do the same thing. So, shit's been good. We're well researched over here at, unknowncharitynamesofar.com, you know? We don't know what the name's going to be yet. We were sort of settled on a name, but I can't really say anything until it's properly set up. Also, we don't know how the company's... Anyway, so many things. Very Kafkaesque. If I don't feel like I'm progressing in life, and I'm just being codependent with a partner, I will just feel awful. There's no purpose there. I need to feel like I'm doing something good. I need to feel like I'm building something or progressing in life. If I put like my life goals on hold, like for example, right? If you think about it different to work, and if you say like, well, I don't want to. Okay, let's say with the charity, right? If I've got a meeting, but my girlfriend wants to go out with me. Like, I've got to talk to this, this charity thing is not going to progress if I don't have this little meeting or something. Like, this is going to put it in, like, a bit of, you know, this is going to be worse if I don't have this meeting, and it's going to be worse for people, and I feel like I'm not, like, you know what I mean? Like, which one am I going to choose in that scenario? It's going to be the thing that, yeah, it's going to be that. Like, it's a shitty thing to have in a partner. But I'm very passionate about what I do. I'm really passionate about it. I think I have good life goals And I know if I don't hit them, I'll be like, or if I know I'm not moving towards something, I'll become awful, man. I'll be so terrible to, like, be with. It'd be awful. I don't care about legacy. I think it's bullshit. I just want to do good while I'm here. You know what I mean? That's sort of the reason for the charity. I'm not doing it for any, like... I don't want to... I think the people that care about that... I think that it's like it's normal, but
working
it just
creatively more fulfilling than a relationship. Cottontail can fix that. She'll definitely feel you fall.
I saw it coming, but it was still good. Fuck's sake, more fulfilling. Anyway, boys. I'm so smart. I am in a philosophy tube video. A video about philosophy and cryptocurrency and mystery
17 months.
and femboys apparently. I don't know if you guys saw it. It came out like an hour ago. I want to show you it because I want to show you.
Killer dress. So what are the consequences for your own charity? What did you learn from Abby?
Oh, dude. Well, Abby, dude, the reason why I'm so good... Okay, first of all, the reason why I respect Abby so much is she was fucking there, like, before it started. Like, when I was thinking about the idea. Oh, wait, hold on. I did actually skip to the wrong point.
Onto anything. But that particular cause was Finster's choice.
The trans community has been incredibly welcoming and accepting to me and me doing what I do. And I have good news. Turns out I'm not giving away
me! I know that guy!
I'm giving away $50,000. I'm in the philosophy tube video.
Most charitable donation.
So like when I was like setting up the charity thing, right? So that's still going on, by the way. But like while I've been setting that up, I got the advice of like, yeah, if you set up an actual charity, you will get torn the fuck apart for supporting trans healthcare. And it's kind of just an issue of like, if you want you and 2 other people that have to register that with you, if you want journalists like digging through everything you've ever done and making actual hit piece articles about you. Like if you can deal with that, then I'd say it's a good idea to start a charity for the tax benefit. But if you can't deal with that, then don't do it. And I can't morally put 2 other people through that, you know? It seems shitty. Because you have to have, like, 3 trustees on the board or something. It's nuts. No good. Don't want, like, J.K. Rowling types after me. And if the Aiden Ross tweet was anything to go on, I don't entirely think that people love trans people. I don't know. Random fucking hot take. I don't think trans people are all that popular in England. So, get volunteers. You could, but... the tax benefit? Yeah, like, essentially, if you, like... Essentially, like, yeah, like, the tax benefit. Like... if you start a charity, you sort of need all the money to go to charity. You sort of need it for the thing. But like if I donate money to a clinic, then they're going to go, well, that's not a registered charity. So you'll need to do like, instead, like, or also, like, okay, let's say, right, like trans person needs a hand out of homelessness or some shit. And you give them money, they'll go, well, that's not a charity. So that's taxable income. So what you need to do is pay like, they get like 20% less or, you know, and then, you know, whatever. But I want that 20% to go straight to there. But... I don't know. I gotta work it out. Accountants, this shit, they make it really hard. Surprisingly. Anyway, have Finn, Rose, and Jude on the board. It's like 3 people who drew. Perfect idea. Oh. A charitable donation has to be done to a charity. If you are a charity and you give money somewhere that is not a charity, it's not a charitable donation. You're just spending money as a charity. So like oh sorry. Technically, that's not true, so that's the opposite of what it is. If you're a charity, you're sort of immune to a bunch of that shit. There's oversight and everything about what you're doing, but yeah, essentially you can donate to clinics. But the government will really shut you down if you're doing healthcare as a charity. That's sort of the advice I got. And then, if you're not like an actual registered charity, but you're a charitable company, a charitable organization, if you donate money to charity, it's like you don't have to pay tax on that donation, but if you donate to like a clinic that's not a registered charity, you have to pay tax on it, and not all of that money goes there. Taxes are weird. I remember when it first came out, everyone was like, Finn's just doing this to be like... there was a couple people that were like, they don't understand anything. There were a couple people that were like, oh, actually, no, it's just a thing that like millionaires do to hide money from taxes. Like, you don't know how tax works, do you, buddy? Like, that's not how that works. If you give money to charity... like, you'd want it not to be taxed, so all the money goes to charity. It doesn't give you, like, a tax benefit. If I give away 50 grand to a charity, I don't get the equivalent of that back on not charitable money, like, not spent in that way. You know what I mean? No one knows how tax codes work. So, like, it's kind of really frustrating arguing with people that have heard like one fucking like a Vice, whatever. I don't know. They've heard like a YouTuber say something once, and then that's their opinion. So then they've never actually done it. So like I don't know. The government wants that cut, no matter what it is. Anyway, it's because it's you. Oh, but anyway, fellas, I do tax for a living. There's a lot of cool stuff you can do. A lot of cool stuff you can do. Usually charity's a little bit more oversight though. Charity can claim a gift aid back. Yeah, exactly. If you're a charity. That's sort of my point, is like, if you're a charity, you can do, there's some stuff you can do to like, but again, that's why there's so much oversight in it. But it also comes with a fuck ton of shit. And you also can't really register a charity to, like, you can't register a charity in just the sole reasoning to give healthcare to people. You can sort of do it, but the government really doesn't like it, and at their first opportunity they can sort of shut you down, and that screws up your whole thing. Because we have like a free healthcare system, the NHS, they don't like privately funded healthcare. And so donating to it, even if it's for a good cause, is usually seen as not a great thing. You know? So they don't like it, and they have an active interest in not letting you pursue it. Sorry. You're trying to help the people who we're deliberately underserving, the nerve. Right? Like, oh, sorry. Like, you're trying to get people off the 10-year, the like, decades-long waiting list. Cringe, bro. Bye. Fucking boop, gone. Like, that's shitty, but that's like the advice I got from the CEO of Mermaids that was just like, yeah, if you do that, they're gonna fuck with you so hard. Like, you kind of just need to be able to have your life ruined and then carry on. And I was like, Philosophy tube on how bad the NHS is for trans people is really eye-opening. Yeah, I really fucking highly recommend that video. It's great. Which oh, it's Susie. The one that she stepped down in November. Susie Green, her name is. Trans people bitch about the NHS, to be honest, rightfully so. Agreed. Listen, man, preaching to the choir here. Like, I'm fucking trying to do, like, private charity for trans people. NHS is not set up for it. If you want to know about it, go watch fucking Abby Thorne's video on it. On Philosophy Tube video on the NHS. It's great. Great video. Explains everything very well. Like, waitlist are measured in decades. It's fucking crazy. But yeah.
Right
fun.
on.
Hell yeah. Shout out Abby. Abby's great. Charity talk. Oh, fuck me. So essentially, I reckon what I'm gonna do with the charity is like, so 50k gone. Like, that's gonna be just like, I've got to set up a chat with Susie on just like how, like, where to give the money to. Because I think at this point in time, I'm leaning on the side of doing the entire $50,000 to Gender GP. Just think they do good work. I think it'd help a lot of people. The only complaint about them is that they're kind of expensive, which is what we take care of. So that'll go to them. I think that'd be kind of fun. So the Gender GP gets like a $50,000 fucking thing, which is more money than they've like raised ever. I think they might have raised like $50,000 or $60,000 I think before, and we'll be giving them $50,000 in one lump sum. So that should help them a lot. You've done a lot of research on them? Yeah, I mean I spoke to their I spoke to a lot of people there. I don't want to name names. I spoke to a lot of people there. They're great. So yeah, I reckon like that's the update currently. I'm glad that we've done it this way because I just have like I'm not fundraising for it, so I don't really have to like I don't have a fucking board of chairman. So personally, that's just going to be money coming out of my account. So it's just going to be nice fucking 50k out of my money. No, it's like 25k out of mine, 25k out of 10, so $50,000. Bam, me and 10 donation to specifically them. And we'll just take the tax hit on it. I'll pay tax for it. No big deal. It'd be a big little thing there. And then in the future interest of like making a charity to do that more frequently, then yeah, that's sort of still being worked on. Turns out it's very bureaucratic to do, but I wanted to make it a priority that like 50k just like goes. Aren't they a registered charity? No, they're not a registered charity. Gender GP? No, they're a like clinic. They're like, well, not a clinic. Sorry, they're like a private healthcare service. If you're a registered charity, you can give it to private companies, but a private company can't give money to a private company if they're both registered as private companies for a charitable reason. Otherwise, that's such an insane tax loophole. You know? Okay, small update on charity thing. That money should be leaving my account within this month. I can't really say what or when or how or anything like that yet. I'll make a video on it. But finally,
So what happened with your plans to start a charity? I've been stuck working and don't get to stay informed all the time.
Don't worry about it. I can't necessarily tell you. I will say that, like, the plans to start charity is way more complex than I initially thought. And that, well, okay. Technically, I sort of knew and then didn't, but anyway. But, like, I do have a plan for the money, but I'm not allowed to tell you about it yet, okay? Within the next, like, 10 days, okay? You'll know. But it's cool. It's a cool thing that's happening. I've got to record it real soon. Can't tell you, though. It'll be a surprise. I'm spending $50,000 on a problem you might not even know exists. I live in the UK, and right now it's going through a bit of a crisis. With everything. But a year ago, I was told about the insane things going on with trans healthcare in the UK. We're talking 20-year wait lists to get sometimes a life-saving medication. How can we help solve it? Well, I spent the last 6 months looking into private organizations, interviewing their CEOs, and then I was told about Gender GP. They're great. I've talked to them an awful lot.
We want to provide healthcare, but the other thing that's so desperately missing is education.
I was looking for an organization that could take $50,000 and put it to a good use. And the way that's going to work is if an adult wants to start up their healthcare with them but can't afford it, this money kicks in and it pays for it for them so they can start treatment before moving on to the NHS system. If you want to help out too, there's more information in the pinned comment in the description.
Well, my quick question is that you do a lot of stuff for charity. So my question is that what inspired you to do charity stuff and to try and help out various communities? Like, what was your biggest inspiration?
Oh, I just, like, when I spoke to Abby, and learned about, like, I mean, I think I have a very specific cause, I guess, in mind. So the stuff I do for charity has only really been for, like, UK healthcare shit, because our healthcare system is kind of dog shit right now. I trust it will be better, and I don't think that privatizing healthcare is a good solution. But for right now, as a stand-in, I've spoken to far too many trans women and trans men that are unable to access, like, healthcare, basic healthcare needs that they need to have. It's fucking life-saving medication. There's studies on this shit that, like, I don't know. I didn't feel right knowing that I was well known in the trans community and that the trans community has given so much to me and I was doing absolutely nothing to help. I felt like that was an injustice done to them that I could help with, and I felt wrong to not do anything about it. And, you know, if it's something you can do, I believe that you should. Was my thing about it, and it took me a while to figure out exactly the best way to do it. I know that some people were unhappy with exactly a small minority of people were unhappy with exactly how I should, or what cause I dedicated things to, which was like what's it called? Gender GP was the service that I'm saying to use. But there's a lot of people there's some people that gave me flack about it, about like what's it called? That for trans women maybe like doing DIY in the UK. I really despise the fact that a genuine criticism of healthcare is that of trans healthcare in England is like, oh dude, it's so much cheaper to do things by DIYing it, by ordering drugs on the internet. I agree. I completely agree. Obviously, I can't support that as a thing. I'm not gonna go out there and say like, go find drugs on the internet. No. But isn't that so fucked up that that's our system? That like, the government or private systems won't give you healthcare. They won't and or can't due to whatever fucking underfunding, I don't care. Whatever it is. All the stuff. It's a fucked up thing that our country refuses or can't give you healthcare, and your best solution is to buy it from other countries and do it yourself. Practice your own, like, healthcare. That's fucking insane to me. I hate that. And there's one thing for trans women where, like, yeah, there's cheaper alternatives than something like Gender GP or even the NHS system, but there's no real solution for that for like trans men, and there's not a lot of trans men in my audience, but I feel like that is a really, really important group. And Gender GP's 70% of their customer base, or like fucking people using their service, I think it's like 18,000 people right now, are trans men. Because I find the idea of doing testosterone a really fucking easily abusable and harmful like drug if you do it wrong, especially like you're injecting yourself with shit. If you do that shit wrong, that's gonna cause genuine harm to you if you don't know what you're doing. I can't mentally make that right to suggest that people do that DIY. So I wanted people to know that there's a real healthcare solution. And the only issue with that is expense. And if I can cover the expense of doing that, then that's something I should do. I think I have a duty for that. Because I have enough money. I'm fine. $50,000 is a lot of money to me. It's a lot of money for anyone. But, like, I know that that will help hundreds of people in England. And there's a... I won't do this. I won't do this emotional shit. I promise, I swear to God, I will not cry. I will not shed a tear. But my thought process behind it is like, I don't know. If it... I don't know. I think if it... Oh my fucking God. Right. My idea behind it was that if it can save like one fucking, I don't know, like trans guy's life from fucking doing some shit wrong, because that happens all the goddamn time, or like I don't know, it helps some trans girl from fucking, I don't know, using the, I don't know, there's some sad shit with like rates of suicide in England and shit like that. It's fucking awful, especially among the trans community. I don't know, I always figured like, you know, if there's a few hundred to 1,000 people that helps, then like at least one. Be good. You know, fuck up my makeup, bro. You know, screw up my goddamn, my perfect, like, goddamn contour. Because you're a piece of shit. Alright, I'm good. No, the makeup. I know! Dude! You look fab even if you cry. Listen, fucker. I don't know. I don't know what crying is. I've actually... So listen,
it's okay, honey. We will support you no matter what.
I had a surgery recently to remove my tear ducts so I no longer cry. Because obviously I don't want to be a pussy. Because that would be cringe, dude. How are you so pretty when you cry? Never heard of it. Never heard of cry. What is... Sorry, cry? Is that like... Is that some dude? I don't know. Never heard of him. This is not tears. It's just the face of moisturizer, indeed. Allergies. Yeah, it's something about, like... You know what's weird? I do have an allergy I don't know about. I don't know what it is. My face always gets red randomly. After I, like, eat food, I'm allergic to something, but I don't know what it is yet. Very, very odd. Hoax from all internet trans people. Yeah, I think the first time I had mascara streaks from crying, it was peak euphoria. I'm not, you know what? Even though I said mascara, I'm not wearing mascara. Like, I don't even do it. It's so easy. Just get fake eyelashes, bro. You're fucking, dude, it's so much easier. But no, there's like, sweating from your eyes? Yeah. I'm acutely aware that a lot of the trans community aren't a big fan of me. Which is fine. You know, everyone has their thing. Like, look, there's 1,000, 2,000 of you here, and you know, realistically, you know, just you guys will see this. I've been trying for the last, like, I don't know, half year or so to, at least in the UK, you know, help a little bit, but it's been good. It's been nice. It's nice. Finally, holy shit! Finally, like the money has now like gone, exited my account for the. Oh my god! It took so long. I wanted like I really wanted to not just give money to charity. I wanted to give money to people that needed it, and that's such a hard thing to set up. And I'm so glad that we could do that. So yeah, we know, like, so I got a DM the other day from Susie, the fund manager, that like on the day, so the next morning that she woke up, she messaged me first thing in the morning, and she said that there was like 30 applicants for the fund, which 30 people, you know, we're used to seeing like really big numbers or something, but like 30 fucking people, bro. It's good. Yeah, it was like that was Wednesday, and now it's Friday. Let's go. That was first thing in the morning after the post. 30 people applied to the fund. That was so. By the way, the reason why that number matters so much is that like my back is fucked. Oh my god. So the reason why that number matters so much to me is that like I don't know if I could like, can I do this? Oh, that's ugly. Holy shit. This is an ugly cry angle. Holy shit. But like, yeah, there's those 30 people in like, there's literally thousands of people in England that want healthcare through, like, not want trans healthcare and shit. But by the morning of announcement, you know, by the morning of the donation, there were 30 people that couldn't get healthcare, that was their first opportunity to get it, and it was good, and it helped them. Cool! So, the way that, there were a lot of questions about it, and I said, like, ask me on stream. But the way that fund all works and stuff is that it's not like you apply for it, and if you know, you make a fucking $1 million a year or some shit, and then you get free healthcare from the Finster Fund. It's not like that. It's specifically for, they go through all these checks. It's even to the point of like, if you can afford it with some money left over, you go for it normally. But like, this is people that physically could never afford it, could not get onto the NHS waiting list, could not do shit in England. They could do it in America, they could do it anywhere else, but in England, you know, they couldn't do it. Real numbers, baby. It's like also, it's not like a fucking month of healthcare and shit. That's their healthcare. That's like all of it. Like, that's the, I don't know how many months each thing funds, but I think it's like $50,000 that we did, and it was like, oh my god, I don't actually know what it was. How many people that does? I think if they were all women, it's like $50 a month. So, I mean, if they were all like trans girls, it would be, I mean, for trans men, it's an awful lot. I think it's like 1.5k a year, and for trans women, it's like 500, 600. Let's just say with fees and everything like that, say 1,000 a year or something like that. You know, like, we taking care of the healthcare for the year, for all of them, for an entire fucking year, and more than that. Those are wild. And then, even for trans men, crazy. Anyway. Means a lot to me, even though it's a little bit of a weird thing.
Have you talked about fundraising for this fund yet now that it's up and running?
No. There's some weird legal shit with the UK and charity stuff. Like, not to bore you or anything, because it is really fucking boring. It's really, really fucking boring. But essentially the long and short of it is, like, the UK does not, my country does not like it when you try and subsidize healthcare. And they make it really, really hard for, what's it called? Charities to exist that cater to trans people. Because we don't really like trans people in England, and we also don't like private healthcare. And that is kind of both of the issues. So, like, yeah, essentially setting up a charity specifically for private healthcare for trans people, two things we don't support at all in England. You know, not the easiest thing to set up through the charity commission. Also, you need about 3 people to be on the board of a charity. And look, if it was just me, I would do it. the issue, though, is that, like... Where's my, like, brush? So the issue with setting up a charity with in England is that you need 3 people on the board of it. And if you have 3 people on the board of it... So I got recommended this by... or I got told this by the manager of Gender GP and Mermaids in the UK, which was the biggest trans charity in England. And Europe, I think, right? Mermaids? It's like the biggest trans charity in Europe. So I got recommended this by the CEO of them, which was, as soon as you do that, you and everyone involved with it will be essentially like hunted down by the media. Because, again, it's hard to describe, because it sounds like, you know, listen, Americans, we speak the same language. We do not have equal support of trans issues. It's really shitty here. I get that it's shitty there. It's very bad here as well. It's very bad there. It's very bad here. It's bad everywhere, right? Media will, like, fuck with you. They've already tried fucking with me, but I've declined every offer to talk to them, even though it's a bit shady what they do. But, yeah, for example, the CEO of Gender GP is a literal doctor, and or the founder of is a literal doctor, and she was brought onto a tribunal for like years over just practicing healthcare, trans healthcare privately. Every other doctor in England, you can practice private healthcare, doesn't matter. She specifically brought onto a tribunal, brought to court for years, because she was practicing trans healthcare. Wild. That is really the state that we're at. They approved everything. They ended up finding out she was fine. And in fact, they said that Gender GP was one of the best organizations for that. But yeah, in England, it's way worse than people think, I believe. It's way worse than most people believe it to be. And yeah, anyway. Years. Wild, right? So it's like, I don't know, if I involved anyone else in setting up a charity to have their name on it, I'm fine my name being dragged through the mud, whatever, like, Finster is a little evil little bastard, but I'm not fine with having friends and family or something like that, having journalists and people that mean ill will to trans people and they just want to cause harm to people that support trans people. I don't want... I don't know. I don't want people digging into other people's lives and trying to ruin theirs. I'm fine with, like, journalists and shit and the government trying to ruin my life. I don't really give a fuck. I've got enough, like, whatever. I really don't give a fuck. But I physically can't set up a charity with more than... Oh, sorry, with less than 3 members, which really sucks. So I don't know. And it's not really like a... Again, I can sacrifice like the fucking... I can sacrifice the, like, my private life and a bunch of shit coming out in the media or papers about me, but I'm not prepared to do that for friends and family. That it's not my, like... I don't know. I've seen how bad journalists and just people can be. And I am not prepared to unleash that on people that haven't gone through it already. You know what I mean? But, you know, I'll figure out how I do that. But we'll see. I think GP is doing something with it. We'll see. Find other like-minded individuals? Maybe, actually. Maybe. But the issue with don't go for donations? Yeah, the thing is they're not counted as donations. They're just profit and moving money. Profit and payments. The problem with, like, the reason why you'd want to set up a charity is, like, you'd do, like, what's it called? Fucking, you'd get money, the money is not taxed, and you give it to charity. And that's it, essentially. But if you pay me, and then I pay someone else, that gets taxed from you getting the income, from me getting the income, and then them getting the income. So eventually you're left with, like, fucking 20% of what the original money was. So the tax benefits are dog shit. So, like... you know, fucking capitalist as you want to be, you know, there's less money going to the cause that you actually want it to go through, which is meh. It's completely fucked. Charities have... The charity commission are strict, and I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. You know, you don't want people just setting up random, like, shell corporations that don't get taxed. I think they have to be strict, but whatever. It is a bit incredibly not based for them to not allow, like, healthcare organizations to be charities. I wouldn't care so much. Someone will always have a problem with you. Just don't buckle to them. That's what I mean. I don't give a fuck about people giving a fuck about me. I don't give a fuck. Dude, I'm good. If people want to fuck with me, I don't care. But, I don't know. I think I got ruined by this a little bit. And stuff that does not matter to me at all will matter to someone that doesn't do this and isn't used to it so much. Like, I wish I could give you an example, but I don't want to, like, provoke anything. Some stuff happened recently. Some stuff happened recently with some people I'm relatively close with, and it was something that I deal with 5 times a day, but absolutely scared the shit out of them because they were connected to me. Just loosely connected to me. I deal with it. There's not a single day that I don't get at least 3 of the things that they got. And, like, they called me, it took the week, they took a few days off from work about it. And it's stuff that I don't really consider as an issue at all, but a lot of people do. It's a genuinely scary thing, I'm just used to it. You know, I don't want to push someone into a position where not only just my audience is aware of it, but, like, the larger public in England, especially if they live here, which they'd have to if they're a part of a charitable organization. I don't want their home to be hostile to them because they want to support a cause, you know what I mean? And they're connected with me. I don't want that. I don't want that for them. Isn't that a decision that they should make for themselves? You'd think, but I think that people get into it not knowing the extent, you know what I mean? Like, I've had a lot of people, like, say, like, oh, no, dude, yeah, no, I'm fine. People fucking approaching me in the street and threatening violence. Yeah, dude, I can deal with that every day. That's fine, whatever, who cares? Like, the death threats to my house, who gives a fuck, bro? No, dude, they don't. As soon as it happens to them, they're like, you know? I think it's a different thing thinking about it and then receiving it, you know what I mean? There's a difference to it. People underestimate the gravity of it? Yeah. Also, like, dude, they can audit you. Like, shit like that. Like, journalists putting you in the newspaper and shit. Like, dude, you want all your taxes and income and, like, dude, it's not even, like, physical stuff. It's like, dude, it's like governments and shit. Like, you'll do this, and then they'll have, like, okay, you'll get audited. Every year you ever submit your tax returns, audited. You ever do anything wrong? Thousands of dollars in fines. Shit like that. Like, it will be an utter hellhole to live in the country that you're living in if you do this. I'm okay with that. I'm fine with making that little, like, but I feel awful making that decision for someone else, especially if I don't think they have the understanding of the gravity of the fucking thing, you know? And that was what, like, Susie warned me about, 'cause she went through all that shit too. But, meh.